Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us for our live stream. Today's topic is the future of cloud security, AI, and ML. I'm your host, Peter Van Rysdam. I'm the head of marketing here at Cloud Institute. And if you're not familiar with Cloud Institute, we are a training and coaching company that equips IT teams to confidently deliver on IT projects. We offer personalized coaching with cloud experts and hands-on project-based training to help you with your live projects. And I'm happy to introduce one of those cloud experts today, our cloud leader, Zaki Medina, who will be presenting today. Zaki is an expert instructor and cloud coach who has coached thousands of aspiring data scientists and engineers. Before I turn it over to Zaki, I want to encourage you to all ask questions in the comments, and we'll answer them at the end of the presentation. Also, there will be a recording of this available here on the LinkedIn event page immediately afterwards if you do miss anything. And if you'd like a copy of the slide deck, leave us a comment and we'll connect to get that over to you as well. We'll try to keep this around 30 minutes. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Zaki.
Thank you so much, Peter, for the kind words here. Welcome, everybody. Today's session, I'm very excited, and delighted that you're able to join our very insightful 30-minute live stream today. We're going to really delve into the topic of AI and ML and cloud security. I mean, when you think about the future of cloud security, the future is already here. I mean, it's basically 2023, and we've already been using AI and cloud. AI and machine learning or ML within cloud security. So it's a very fascinating topic, but also something that's very immensely crucial in our digital age today. And so, one of the things is as we increasingly rely on the cloud for a wide range of services and data storage, ensuring security has become a paramount concern. In fact, not a week goes by you don't hear about a security breach in the cloud as a result of improper practices and not investing the right time and effort and process people think, all of those things coming into play. So as with any technology, the landscape of cloud security is constantly changing and it's continually being shaped by advancements and innovations. And today we find ourselves at sort of this junction, right, where AI and machine learning, or ML as I'd like to call it, are basically redefining what we can achieve in terms of cloud security. So today we're going to explore the power of these advanced technologies in predicting, identifying, and even preventing cloud security threats. We're also going to examine some of the tools from tech giants like AWS, Azure, and even Google Cloud, how they're utilizing AI and ML to revolutionize their cloud security offerings to the market. Moreover, we want to start discussing how to foster a security first mindset in your organization, right? Whether you're a cloud practitioner, IT manager, cybersecurity professional, or just someone who's eager to stay informed about the latest in tech, then this live stream is for you. So let's jump in without further ado. So, a little bit about myself. I've been a CTO, multi-cloud architect. I'm currently working on a few projects, on a few ventures, all related to AI, all related to different domains in healthcare, retail, manufacturing, and so on. And one thing nothing has changed is the level of conversation around security, right? And security is a big thing, and definitely want to discuss how this is our action packed agenda. We're going to start with sort of an understanding of sort of a 101 on cloud security, what that is, and some of the expectations of this session today. Then we're going to jump into sort of how is AI and ML are game changers in the aspect of AI and machine learning, right? Their role in enhancing cloud security. How do they go about predicting, identifying, and preventing some of the cloud security threats? As well as we'll look at a case study. In fact, I'll bring one of my ventures here, a healthcare wellness e-commerce offering, and that's running on AWS, and how we leverage AI and machine learning in the cloud for cloud security purposes. And then we look at some of the AI and ML enabled cloud security apps from AWS, from Azure, from Google, and some of the key features and benefits of these. And then finally look at how do we cultivate that security first mindset, right? Um, and the importance of that security first culture. And then finally overcoming some of the challenges of deploying AI and ML. And then finally some conclusion, Q&A, takeaways, things of that nature. At any given time, please, ask Please use the comment section to ask the Q&A. We will cover Q&A at the end. We have a jam-packed session, and we're always short on time, as I always tell Peter. So let's dive right in. So the real problem, if we think about cloud, is, when you ask, you did a survey a couple of years ago, a lot of security industry professionals believe that threat intelligence is too voluminous, meaning today there's just too much alerts happening and a lot of complexity for that for you to even take action as a team, whether it's your security operating centers, your SOCs. There's just a real thing around alert fatigue and so on. So with all this petabytes of data and so on, how can we automate some of this? Because security, from a large part, if you think about security, I can if you leave this webinar with two words, it would be best practices, right? Which is, in the end, all security is, have we dotted the I's, crossed the T's, right? And made sure of that. And a lot of times as humans, the manual approach, we do miss things. And then you could even automate some of these. But now, in today's day and age, automation is not enough because the bad guys are using AI and they're ahead of the curve and they're able to circumvent those automated rules. So now we need to jump to the next step where we're leveraging AI and machine learning. Machine learning, mostly AI is really the umbrella term here, but I use those two interchangeably here. And so if you think about it, even earlier today, I read somewhere that 62% of companies are being attacked at least weekly, with about 20% being attacked daily and 10% attacked hourly, right? So let's think about the security footprint the teams have to work through to make this happen. So basically, they could use all the help they can get. That's really the key aspect of this. So as we dive into our session, it's really important to sort of set the stage and understand why we're here. Cloud security is no longer an optional aspect of a digital strategy. And it's a necessity, in fact. So as we embrace digital transformation, the security of our data and services in the cloud has only become the highest priority. And it's why AI and ML and why these game-changing technologies are coming in now and redefining how we approach cloud security. It's with their predictive and analytical power, AI and ML can equip us to better identify and prevent any potential threats in ways that we could not even imagine a few years ago. So, we hope to just, maybe skim the surface. It is 30 minutes, right? And as always, we will have a series of webinars this month on cloud security. So, we'll cover one piece of the jigsaw puzzle today, and then a few others in the next few webinars, and so on. And again, drop us a comment if there's a topic that you're interested in. But as we explore AI and ML and how we can use it, we want to discuss, creating, what does that mean? What do we mean by, you know, what do we mean by cloud security? So let's start sort of, I like to start sort of at the first principles of zero thinking is, what's the basics of cloud security? Well, at its core, cloud security is simply a set of policies, controls, procedures, and technologies that really work together to protect cloud-based systems, data, and infrastructure. And today, in our ever connected world, it plays an even more vital role in maintaining confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information. So as we shift operations, focus our data into the cloud, we're really exposing ourselves to a new set of challenges and threats. In fact, this has begun about 18 years ago with the advent of, the push towards cloud. And if anything, the threats have only increased and magnified, right? So the threats and these threats could range from data breaches, data loss, that's resulting from some system vulnerabilities or any kind of account hijacking, right? And so all of the consequences of these threats could be catastrophic. And there was an article that talked about it takes a company, the average organization, about 20 months to recover from a cybersecurity incident. And so that's crazy. It's almost close to 2 years. So then all of this will, and how you could, and the impact of this is financial loss, reputational damage, regulatory penalties in some cases, and so on. So this is, some of the things that come up. And in fact, when you think about AI and machine learning, and how do we tackle these problems today, right? As I mentioned today, that the rule-based systems today are ineffective that we've had in the past. Because why? You have zero-day attacks happening. You have metamorphic, polymorphic code, protocol-based obfuscation. There's a lot of false positives coming in from the alert center. And at the same time, there's an alert fatigue with sort of the folks at the SOCs, at the security operating centers, and so on. And obviously, there's bad actors that are constantly using AI and getting ahead of the curve. And so, how do we mitigate that? Right. And so that's one of the things that we want to look at. So the answer is very simple, right? Having understood the significance of cloud security and how it plays a huge role and a vital role in any digitalization and digital transformation initiative, you know, we now turn our attention to how do we leverage AI and ML to get to that. So, again, AI ML, I think at this 2023, they're no longer buzzwords. Everyone's using some aspect of AI and ML in their day-to-day life, right? They're powerful tools. And these tools are redefining cloud security. So at its simple, if you just think about if you've been living under a rock, AI at its simplest is simply a capability of a machine to imitate, I guess, intelligent human behavior and cognition, right? In the context of cloud security, it means it's like having this tireless, ever vigilant security guard who can instantly spot and react to any potential threat, right? And then so with these capabilities, think about the ability of AI in cloud security. And machine learning, or ML, on the other hand, it's a subset of AI. And what it involves is really learning from data, right? You're identifying patterns, you're making decisions with minimal human intervention. And in cloud security, when we say ML in cloud security, what we mean is the ability to analyze vast amounts of security data, identify patterns indicative of a threat, and then take swift action, right? And some corrective remediation steps around that. So, with all these capabilities, AI and ML are enabling us to predict, identify, and prevent cloud security threats and so on, more efficiently and effectively than ever before. So it's not just about theory. In fact, we'll look at a real world example here in shortly. But really, the goal here is to understand that once we've powered, this is not for it's not for a large corporation with huge budgets and huge security infrastructure. It's really for any organization going to the cloud, even a small startup, even if it's a founder of one leveraging the cloud today. You are using AI and ML to some way to transform your approach to cloud security. So with that, what I wanted to do is jump in, talk a bit about my, health store here. This is my health and wellness e-commerce company. It was inspired, post-pandemic. Besides everyone working on their waistline, health and wellness was top of mind for everyone. And in fact, a lot of health statistics point that everything, from a health perspective, mental health perspective, longevity perspective, we took a few steps back as a race. And so that's really the goal here. And so basically in the e-commerce store, we are selling supplements, wellness products, as well as test kits and so on. And I'm running this in the AWS cloud. And we use machine learning algorithms every day to identify and mitigate data breaches. An example of that is very simple. For instance, data loss prevention, right? Data loss prevention is a huge big deal, especially in the healthcare. You may be even handling some personal health information, right? FI data. And so, how do you go about preventing data loss, right? And so, and it's really a combination of three things, right? There's monitoring, there's data classification, and then there's user behavior analytics. So, in monitoring, because we're in the AWS cloud, we collect the data from all different kinds of telemetry, such as AWS CloudTrail, Route 53 logs, VPC flow logs, application logs, and all of this goes into basically a compute. We use S3 bucket, compute and storage cluster where we would then send them to AWS CloudWatch, which provides some alarms. Then we use sort of, anomaly detection algorithms on top of it. And some of it we use in AWS, some of it we use third-party anomaly detection tools. And we use algorithms like, for some of you data science buffs and ML buffs, we use nearest neighbor clustering, statistical, subspace-based, classifier-based algorithms, right? So those are some of the examples we use in monitoring, right? So anomaly detection is really interesting, as I feel this ain't your grandpa's or grandma's anomaly detection, right? It's not, you set it and forget it. It's constantly learning, it's constantly understanding. In fact, there is another organization I'm working with called Falconry, which is actually leveraging very high-end anomaly detection, automated anomaly detection, which, in manufacturing, if you think about manufacturing, they're doing it at the edge, at the thing. And all of this is obviously heavily secure because a lot of this data, obviously proprietary data, manufacturing data, you predict the stock market for some stocks around that. So, cloud security is huge in that sense, right? So again, check out Healthstra Falconry if you're interested and curious. With respect to data classification, as I mentioned, when you're doing classification, we use a combination of code, like using regex commands to identify different types of, code user input coming in. At the same time, we use Amazon Macy, which Macy basically we use natural language processing to help classify our data and then deploy user behavior analytics on top to predict those user patterns and so on. So again, these use cases, there's 100 of use cases like this online. If you Google them, I was reading recently, there's an enterprise security company called Splunk, and they were talking about how important their machine learning does. I mean, they have basically leveraged ML in their automated threat hunting, and today 90% of of the security of the alerts that come in are basically generated by the machine learning side, and basically it saves about 90%. It basically saves 30 hours a month of user time. They've blocked over 2 million security threats with 12 false positives over a 6-month period. Just think about that: petabytes of data, millions, maybe even tens of billions, close to a billion of data points coming in, alerts coming in, events coming in, excursions coming in, incidents coming in, and how ML is able to automate that. So that's really the power, right? Of where all these case studies point to how AI and ML, they're no longer theoretical concepts. I know we talked about the topic being the future of cloud security. The future is here. It's already running. It's already working. And if you're not getting ahead of it, then bad actors looking at your organization will get ahead at that. And so, it is making a real difference right now. In fact, one of the things, when we think about an example here of machine learning and security, is how AI, the tremendous use of AI in penetration testing, right? Specifically in pen tests, right? Basically, you hire an ethical hacker to come in and actually attack your your data asset, your digital asset, your online presence, and basically they simulate what is called a breach and attack simulation. They call it BAS for short, right? And there's a specific range of AI penetration testing products, right? So my friend Kyle, shout out to him for helping me out with this. And so when it comes to sort of pen testing and cybersecurity risks, AI and ML can definitely help with your current processes, right? So besides speed and accuracy, these tools boast the chance of preventing any data breaches and so on. However, when you think about all pen testing, you could divide them into sort of three categories. You have manual testing, and then you have automated testing, and now you have AI or ML enabled testing, right? So, and manual testing, we all get, it's primarily dependent on human effort. Automated testing, pen testing, is really dependent on humans to get effective results. And again, all at the same time, all of these two, manual and automated, they're not sufficient because they don't guarantee repeatability and they can be subject to human error, right? So now comes the use of leveraging ML and AI to minimize the human factor in these processes. And so, like automated pen testing with ML, today we're able to introduce what is called cognitive automation, which greatly reduces human dependency. It's actually it's already taking security industry to new heights. The joke is that the tech isn't dead, but all the techs were eventually going to be working for cybersecurity companies. So there's a lot of investment being thrown into cybersecurity around bringing in cognitive automation in. And so one quick example of this, right? So again, don't want to really belabor the point here, but within pen testing, some of you that really interested, there's this concept of footprinting. footprinting, where it's sort of the first stage of pen testing. You've gathered a lot of information about a target system and you want to employ some passive methods to gather all this publicly available information, thereby increasing the chances for successful penetration. Well, guess what? The process is traditionally very manual, very time consuming, but now by integrating ML and AI, we can simply automate this and it can deliver best in class results. There's also scanning, right? This is basically where, once the information in footprinting is collected, obviously there's a lot of information here. It requires the ability to scan this and really identify potential vulnerabilities. And there's a huge complexity in manual scanning, right? So it's inadvisable that that you don't do this manually. In fact, automation will save you hours. In fact, ML can enhance that whole scanning process by allowing automated tools to scan faster, more efficiently, with greater accuracy. They even allow for more thorough scanning by removing the human error for detection, right? And then there's threat analysis, where you have a lot of information, and you want to just perform analysis and so on. So this is basically, you want to, basically integrate ML and AI to help you enhance the reliability and effectiveness of this, and also understand the user behavior and the network activity, and then do vulnerability analysis and all. So all of these things all have an aspect of AI in them, right? So just so you understand, pen testing, several years ago there was of AI and ML being used on it. If now there's we're probably at 20% of ML going in, right? So this is sort of huge repercussions for the industry as a whole. So now the question for some of you is, hey, I get the potential of AI and ML in enhancing cloud security, but how do I leverage these? How does my organization leverage these technologies? Well, the good news is if you're using some of the leading cloud service providers such as AWS, Azure, and GCP or Google Cloud, they've already done the hard work for us, right? So, for instance, with AWS, they offer a service called Guard Duty, which is basically a threat detection service. It uses ML, machine learning, to sort of identify suspicious activity and potential threats within your AWS environment. Then within Azure, you have sort of the security center, right? This is sort of offering advanced threat protection across hybrid workloads in the cloud and on-premise. It uses AI to detect and block any kind of malicious activity, right? Lastly, there's Google Cloud Security Command Center, right? It also uses AI and ML to identify threats and risks in your Google Cloud assets and resources and projects as well. So these tools, all again powered by AI and ML, is not the only tools. There are several other tools. What it represents is sort of the democratization of AI and ML, and how these tools are now readily available and affordable for organizations of all sites. In fact, so a lot of these tools are just offered for free if you use any ADA, any of these cloud service providers, offerings or products or resources or projects. So, definitely take a look at those. And so finally, when we now that we understand, hey, there's some tools, we understand the why we need to use AI and ML. We looked at some of the tools, we looked at a use case example. Now, what does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean much if we're not able to bring the mindset behind the action, right? For any action, you've got to put in the thought around that. So, you know, having the right technology is just one part of the equation. To truly leverage these tools, we need to revisit our mindset, and especially fostering what is called a security first mindset within our organization. And now what does that mean? It means that it's not the job of just the cybersecurity or security professional in an organization. It comes down to everybody, right? Security is a team sport, right? So it's about making security a top priority for all aspects of your business. It's not about thinking a security not as an afterthought or a bolt on, but an integral part of your cloud strategy from the get-go. And so with AI and ML today, what we've done is there's a democratization and availability and accessibility to these tools to predict, identify, and prevent threats. It allows us to be more proactive rather than reactive when it comes to security. So this is really the shift in approach, is that if we adopt a security first mindset, we will always go pick proactive versus reactive, right? And then, obviously remember, the technology is only good as the people using it. So then training your IT teams to harness the power of AI and ML is crucial. There's a wealth of resources out there uh, for continued learning and professional development in AI and ML for cloud security. And if this is too overwhelming, definitely encourage you to get in contact with Cloud Institute. We definitely have sort of the coaches and resources available to help guide yourself, your team, and maybe even in your cloud security story and deployments and design and so on. And even if you're looking to get into a career in cloud security, definitely enhancing your acumen around and brushing up on your skills on ML and AI for cloud security is a way to stand out. So um, as we said. Finally, when we look at sort of, overcoming some of the challenges, right? Obviously, it's not easy. Nothing ever is. So implementing AI and ML in cloud security, you know, isn't without its challenges. So they can range from a lack of in-house expertise and understanding, issues with data privacy and bias, to even the complexity of integrating these technologies into existing systems. However, with the right approach, these challenges can be overcome. I want to just, again, this is a very nebulous topic, to just really distill it down to three key bullet points. Firstly, fostering a culture of continuous learning. Right? Guess what? Everything is changing. What was yesterday is now old. What's coming tomorrow is what we need to know. So, continuous learning is how organizations and individuals and teams can help bridge the knowledge gap. Right? So encourage your team, yourself, to take advantage of online resources, training programs. Maybe come to Cloud Institute and look at some of our offerings around multi-cloud, cloud security, and so on. To enhance your understanding of AI and ML. And then there's concerns over data privacy and bias, right? Again, this can be addressed by deploying responsible AI and ML practices, right? This definitely includes ensuring transparency in how your models work, and to be vigilant about identifying and eliminating bias. As for the technical challenges of integration, obviously work with trusted partners and service providers that have already established, a track record around this, right? So again, as we've discussed, many cloud service providers offer AI and ML enabled tools, but it's easier to incorporate these technologies, but ensure that you are, bringing in the right resources and processes to support this, and change management to support these. So again, addressing these head-on challenges is really key. This is not a destination, it's a journey. And the landscape of AI, ML, and even cloud security is constantly changing. So the goal is to stay informed as best as we can, right? So some key takeaways, as we wrap up our discussion. One of the key things is, okay, the volume of data today is growing. We know that. We all agree to that. And it's really hard to keep up with it, right? Hence alert fatigue, right? And so attacks are also becoming more sophisticated and voluminous to detect manually or even automated, because those rules from yesterday don't apply today. And so machine learning is a way, and it's fast becoming a way, as a widely deployed technology across the security industry. It's now the new normal. In fact, the future of cloud security is here, and it's here, and it's not going away. In fact, it's going to expand more, and it is the new normal. So in today's live stream, definitely looked at AI and ML and how it's revolutionizing cloud security, how it's enabling us to predict, identify, and prevent threats more effectively and efficiently than ever before. We looked at a real world example. I pulled up the kimono and showcased how we use it in our AWS environment, and some of the tools available from AWS, Azure, and GCP. Again, all of this can only be pushed if we have a security first mindset that's really driving all of these actions for us in our organization to really maximize the benefits of AI and ML in cloud security. And then we looked at some of the challenges in implementing AI and ML, how continuous learning, responsible AI practices, and partnering with trusted service providers would make a huge difference. So as a next step, I definitely encourage you guys to explore the resources and tools we've discussed, and share these insights with your colleagues. Hopefully this live stream, once it's available, you guys can share it on your LinkedIn and give a shout out to us at Cloud Institute. Definitely, our goal is we can build that more secure digital future for all. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today, and hope you found this webinar both informative and inspiring. We look forward to seeing you in our future events. And what I want to do is pass it off to Peter here if there's any questions.
Yep, we certainly do have a couple of questions, so we'll try to get to them as quickly as possible. First comes from James. Let's bring that up here. What are some tools I could use for cloud security?
That's a great question. I think some of the tools for cloud security, there's already built-in tools within the cloud providers, but minus those, there are some open source tools. There's Wireshark. It's a tool that's free, open source, multi-purpose network traffic analysis tool. You use it for network troubleshooting. There's another tool called Z Attack Proxy. It's another open source tool. It helps you find vulnerabilities in your web application. There's OpenSCAP, OpenSCAP, which is basically a security guide on how to build, maintain, and manage secure systems. There's a few other popular ones, like SQL Map, which helps you exploit vulnerabilities in SQL databases, and Nmap, which is Network Mapper. So it's a free open source utility for network discovery and security auditing. So.
All right, fantastic. And the next one we have here is from Tristan, and says, "How do you balance security across different clouds?" So I guess a multi-cloud situation.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. This is Tristan. You've walked into the topic of our next webinar. So I'm not going to give you the answer. I'm going to ask you to join our next webinar next week, same time, same bat channel, and come in, and we'll definitely be able to address this wholeheartedly. Definitely security across multi-cloud environments, across landing zones, and how you deploy those. Those are key top of mind. A lot of organizations, almost all organizations, are multi-cloud today in nature. Even if you're using several different SaaS products, those SaaS products are hosted on different cloud platforms. So how do you come in and address that? Definitely the topic of that. So what I encourage you, I won't give the answer today, but definitely next webinar, if you join us, you'll have the answer, you know? So.
Fantastic segue there, and yeah, we do have that one coming up next week. I want to let you know about a couple things first before we let you go, and then we will give you the details on that one as well. We have security training content for all the major cloud platforms at Cloud Institute. For example, our Microsoft Certified Azure Fundamentals and Administrator course that includes labs and one-on-one coaching for only $98. So I'll drop that link in the chat here in just a moment. But there's an even better option. I know we talked about the coaching a little bit, but if you subscribe to our monthly or annual coaching, you get access to all of the training and labs at no additional cost. Coaching starts at just $64 a month. So that's definitely the way to go if you're serious about advancing your cloud career. And I will drop both of those links there in the chat as we move forward here. But yeah, we want to thank you all so much for joining us. And Zach, any final thoughts before we close up?
No, I think definitely this was an interesting topic today around cloud security. I encourage you. Our theme for this month is cloud security. So bring all your cloud security questions. And if we missed a topic you're interested in, definitely shoot it over to us, and we'll be happy to look at it, and set it up for next time. Thank you again for joining, everyone.
Yeah, and just as a reminder, what you said, if anybody wants the presentation, let me know, and I will get that over to you. But our next presentation is May 24th, noon Eastern time, right back here in LinkedIn. We'll be talking about multi-cloud security, balancing flexibility and protection, as well as an hour-long webinar we have on the 31st. There's a comprehensive guide to cloud security certifications. So we hope you can join us for both of those. But yeah, for now, Zaki, thank you so much. And we'll see you all next week.
Awesome.